doing this video because I'm just, you look for things, goals or things for hopeful, little um, places to go or things to buy or maybe things connected places to go with the things you buy, stuff like that. I've done it, I don't know, ever since being in the military. Actually, I began it around the time that I went in, and I've continued it. Something like a college fight song or a tune on your computer. When I was in the Navy, yeah, I mean, I put a lot out there about myself, but nothing really in detail. Um, but I used to have tunes on my computer, for a couple of schools I was hoping to go to, which a couple of them actually did. And then I ended up finishing at a couple that I didn't anticipate going to. Um, there I go with again. Means somebody's unprepared to speak. And things like that, and I would put different pictures and such around my desk, and I've continued that until this day. And sometimes when you're doing that, looking at your goals or things, experiences you would like to have, or like I said before, things that are connected to experiences, travel, makes you think. And I'm thinking back to 2000, to slightly before 2020, when we had money in the bank. I was actually doing two graduate programs at one time, and we had money in the bank. Not from scholarships, grant loans, but as well as from working part time and also doing census. And my credit score was 10 points from being able to get a loan with a guarantee from the VA. I was about 10 to 15 points away. And then all of a sudden, we're evicted, pulled the carpet out from underneath of our feet because we were told that we were looking for a place, and we were told that the place was rented from under us. And I said, what the heck? It's only been a week or two, and you've already rented the place? We just gave our notice. But in the end, the truth was our place was never rented. At that time, we actually had a vehicle in there's two parks around our old place where we live, Countryway. Actually, three parks spanning from next door to the complex all the way to about 15 miles, no, 20 miles away. Actually, I take it back. Four parks up to 30 miles away. And I used to take my daughter from park to park so she could meet different kids. Um, I could have downtime, listen to music or whatever while she's playing, making friends. And if not, then we spend family time playing. And we used to do this several days a week, especially on the weekends. On the weekends, we'd travel farther. Sometimes bring her bike, and she would, make friends all over the state. Well, I don't want to say all over the state. We went as far as probably about 100 miles and a 360. So, she met people within that 100-mile range um, in a circle and 300-mile radius. And we were, we would have been able to move forward in life. We were there. I was finishing up one graduate program, and I just started another to finish that one up. And that was actually the point I was, again, going to start putting together my package to go back in the military as an officer. And I would have two avenues, either as a chaplain, of course now that's kind of faded. Now I struggle with a lot of things because of what's happened to us. God's there, but Sometimes you wonder why evil is allowed to prosper, especially evil that masquerades sometimes as people of Christ. And either that or in intelligence or do a lateral conversion. One officer designated to another. I mean, it's complicated when you go from medical or chaplain corps to um, line line officer, but there's all kinds of stuff. I actually had a professor who went from the medical service corps um, to function as a line officer, a lateral conversion, and it's rare. But actually, I heard about it when I was in the Navy. My primary thing was human resources before I get into force protection. So we've heard of that too, a lateral office designator transfer. They're rare, but they can happen. Um, but anyway, just thinking back, how we were really, and I was still together with my youngest daughter's mother. We were still partners. And until we were kicked out, like I said, the place was never rented because we would pass by it when we go to the park. It wasn't rented for there's about around 5 months, 4 to 6 months, and I saw people inside there. It was empty all that time. And I had that area during census, so I know all about the apartments in there that are kept empty, ones that are used for storage, ones that are just kept empty and people break in there all the time. It's common in a couple of townships in Saginaw that the complexes will have empty apartments and people that are on the run, whether it be after CPS is after them or they have a bench warrant, but they will break in and hide. And sometimes family help them. They're like, oh yeah, come here, the light will be on, such and such apartment is empty. They do stuff like this. This is a criminal sanctuary city and lots of other bad people sanctuary city. But immigrants aren't welcome. That's the thing that doesn't make sense. But anyway, um, so we're very set for a better life, and then all of a sudden this happened, and then the VA, the agency that they grabbed to help us, they dropped the ball for 2.5 months, and I had to pay out of my pocket. And the VA promised that they would reimburse me, but they never did. And when I, kept bringing it up to the supervisor at HUD-VASH again and again and again, then finally she said, "Well, the person's gone. They're fired. They're no longer at the VA." Actually, she didn't say they're fired. She said they're no longer at this VA. They no longer work in this building. Very cleverly choosing words. So that tells you there's something, being held back. But no, they no longer work at HUD-VASH. They no longer work at this VA. That was her exact words. So, very cleverly chosen words. When I said, well, how come there's no complaint? What I told to you, why was no complaint filed, for her licensing to be reviewed, for her to be put back under supervision? Nothing was done. And then finally she said, well, our policy is we do not allow any funds to touch the hands of the veteran. Very general statement, very ambiguous. And I'll say, yeah, it's true. They will put you in financial captivity. And this is what they've done to us now. This captivity, we fought through a lot of stuff, 2017 through 2020. We were right on the precipice. We could have given our voucher back and started looking at like land contract or something. I could have, gone reserve or something. We were poised at a very good position, and then that happened. And I ruined my credit because they never followed through with reimbursing me for, I don't even know, I don't have the figures, $2,000 to $3,000. and then I spent another almost 1,200 of my nest egg savings, and probably another 300 or 400 that I had stashed away in savings accounts. So overall, personal cash loss for me, I would say $2,000 to $3,000, and then my credit, including now, you know, collection fees and all of this stuff, we're probably looking at, I would say, $3,000 to $5,000. No, actually, I take that back. With collection fees and everything, we're looking at now $5,000 to $7,000. And from the things that have happened to my family, the costs just keep going up. The damage keeps getting worse and worse. You know, the targeting gets worse and worse. And law enforcement, nobody does anything about it. So I have to protect my children. I've said before, I have a CPL. I know the rules of deadly force. And the aggression is getting worse. And they're targeting my daughter while she's doing her homework, watching videos for no reason at all, or playing games. They're specifically targeting her a lot. And there's malware on every single one of our devices now. I put this in another video. This looks to have started about 2 to 3 weeks ago when a couple of our neighbors started getting more aggressive, and so I made more complaints about them and documented what they did, and so that now everything has been hacked. Well, you just think of all we were poised to give back the voucher. We were poised. As soon as I was done with my Master of Divinity, I was going to try to find an endorsing agency and, or a seminary, or, something, my situation is kind of complex, being a Catholic father who went to a Protestant seminary, because at the time when I started at the seminary 10 years ago, off and on, there were no Catholic seminaries online, none. And so I just kept with it, and also they had a unique program that, integrated a lot of marriage therapy, a lot of premarital therapy, and a lot of trauma counseling into their chaplaincy curriculum. And it was very unique. You would be set to be a chaplain anywhere: military, fire department, police, hospital, or for ministry, active ministry, as a pastor, even as a priest. You're minus some liturgy and Greek and Hebrew and Latin, but you're still, pretty much set. Even in a Catholic seminary, probably need maybe 1 to 2 semesters, maybe. But anyway, and then this happened. And this is not water. No, but it's a liquid. And if it comes down to me drinking that shit or dying of thirst, I drink. So, I love Stranger Things. It's been a couple of years, and there's a new season coming out. But man, some of those kids can be pretty mouthy. Anyway, they tried to write it comically, but when you step back as a parent and you watch it, you're like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but I'm waiting for the new season. There's supposed to be a season 4 or 5. I saw an advertisement. Anyway, so we're rewatching. My daughter loves Stranger Things. Everybody loves Stranger Things. But anyway, so just think back to how we were poised, to give the voucher back and move forward, and it was ripped away from us. And then they at Countryway, they tried to disable my SOB probably 3 or 4 times, and a couple times they did for a couple months. And then we came to the place we are now, and they absolutely destroyed the car. Then they knew that then it's even easier to keep us captive because now we don't have transportation. But the thing is, believe in the God of justice.
You still want to drink that?
And whether it's in my lifetime or not,
Holy mother of God.
people will be held accountable.
Well, you guys are in good shape. In a Euro station.
We were so close.
What's going on?
Some people keep grabbing people to do the same thing repeatedly and rip the carpet from underneath our feet, causing my daughters to suffer.
He likes it cold.
People step up to interfere in my relationship between them
What time was this attack?
there
What time last night?
Around 9.
and here,
I was ringing the
and
doctor.
that's not going to be good Samaritans. That's going to be human traffickers.
Hallelujah. So, what time was your son?
Around 9.
The state of Michigan should be ashamed of themselves.
My theory.
More concerned with protecting, fellow insert in blank.
To do that, they
We have several families and several groups that these people are, connected to directly and indirectly that target my family. So, I say insert whatever name into the blank is responsible for so much to my family and so much money that has been spent that could help another veteran's family. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. And nobody wants to get involved.
Seriously?
Nobody wants to prosecute. And with some agencies, people don't even want to meet. They want to keep everything on the phone. So some of these people who are involved in this, I don't know if they're real social workers or real housing agents or not, because I've never met them. They refuse to meet. The amount of money that's exchanged hands, and we haven't benefited at all. Oh, you're housed. Yeah, we're housed, but the people that consistently move around us, all they do is cause harm to our family repeatedly. And some of the people that are hired with these agencies or with the complexes, they have predatory behaviors. They enjoy messing with people, coming in their home, taking pictures. I caught a maintenance guy one time walking around my house with a camera on in his shirt pocket, but he's dumb enough he didn't turn off the light. He didn't see it. I did. Around my home.
Clearly. That's why you should listen to Alexi.
Right, yeah. Your new boyfriend, right?
Because every man I talk to from now on has to be my
It's just wrong. And I hope others don't. That nest egg is important, and you find your resources and you go after their legal throat. And you take them to court, you report them, you hold them accountable when people organize against you. And don't believe in giant conspiracies. The world is not against you. If you're repeatedly being targeted and things are happening to your family like mine, the world isn't against you. It's people specifically targeting you. And all it takes is somebody going inside, for example, a social service office who's a social worker, and talking to other social workers, maybe from an alumni group, or maybe they used to work there, and just talking about one family's name. All they need is a name. Saying all kinds of things about the family, complaining about them. Oh, yeah, they're a troublemaker, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, they're lazy. That's all it takes. Or you go into a hospital and you work in the hospital or a clinic.
So what are you, some kind of...
Oh, yeah, I know that veteran. Oh, I hate that guy. And then you start. That's how it starts. That's all it takes to organizing against people and ruin their life. That's how you follow rules for radicals. And some of those people, they're not radical at all. They're apolitical. They just belong in prison.